everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial part of the 2018 Granny Square crochet along from our Facebook group. Today we're going to be making the Kiwi ring square, and that requires two colours, or it's suggested two colours, and you'll need your hook and your scissors, and of course, as I always have, a cup of tea, but it's on the side so you can't see it today. So grab your stuff and let's get going. So let's start round one of our Kiwi ring. So round one, as most squares, we say start with a magic ring. I know most of our other videographers use the magic ring, so I like to try and stick with the chain 4 so you can see it that way. So I've done a chain 4, and then I've slip stitched into the first chain by the slip knot and made it into a ring. You've seen that done several times on our videos. If not, then just check out one of the earlier videos. Okay, so you've got your ring, and then you want to do a chain 5. Now chain 5 will count as your first double crochet and a chain 2. So if you prefer to do the standing double crochet, then go ahead and do the standing double crochet and 2 chains. Okay, so I'm going to do a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 5, so that counts as our first double crochet and chain 2. And then you're going to do a double crochet into the ring. This is where you can work over your tail a little bit. So a double crochet into the ring and then a chain 2, and then another double crochet into that ring and another chain 2, and you're going to do 8 double crochets and 8 chain 2 spaces all the way around this ring, and I will meet you back when you've done that. So I'm going to pause the video, do that myself, and then I will see you back when I've got 8 double crochets and 8 chain 2 spaces into this ring. Okay, so I've got 8 double crochets and 8 chain 2 spaces, and now I did this original chain 5, which counts as our double crochet and chain 2. So a double crochet would normally only be 3 chains, so you need to count up for 3 chains. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then these last 2 are our chain space. So you're going to go into that 3rd chain and do your slip stitch, and that closes your round for you. Just pop my hook out there, and then if you've done this original ring, you can pull your tail a bit tighter, or if you've done the magic ring, pull your tail in, and then that just closes that middle up for you. And you've got these double crochets and chain spaces, and then we are on to round 2. Okay, so for round 2, we need a single crochet into every stitch and every chain space. So we will have 16 single crochets when we finish. So we always start with a chain 1 and then go into that same space, so it'll be in that top chain, and do your single crochet. So that first chain doesn't count, and that should just sort of sit there and not get in the way of anything. And then in your chain space, you're going to do a single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into your chain, and into the stitch. Now don't forget, if you need to slow the video down, on most devices, either in the top right or just below, there's a function where you can slow the video down to a variety of speeds there. I don't know if all devices have that function, but most do. So if not, just pause the video if you need to, if we're going too fast. So into the next space, next stitch, space, stitch, all single crochets, space, stitch, space, oops, space, stitch, space, stitch. Oops. And finishing in a space, and then find your initial single crochet and do a slip stitch into that. Now sometimes you need to use your fingers to help you. That first one can sometimes be a little bit tighter. Just wiggle your hook under there, or if it's really tight you could go down to a smaller hook just for that last slip stitch. You need it to be fairly tight because you want these slip stitches to be quite invisible. So there we go, that's round 2 finished. Now for some reason mine's gone in a bit tighter. Probably did my stitches a little bit too tight, but just give it a loosen up. There we go. Don't worry about this middle, you can always tighten that up again at the end. So there is the end of your round 2 of your kiwi ring. On to round 3. Okay, so round 3 suggests changing to your new colour. So I've changed to this pink, and I've just done a slip stitch into there, fastened off my green, and done a chain 1. And now you are going to do a single crochet in your next stitch. Sorry, I was just checking the pattern. So single crochet into your next stitch, and then you are going to do a front post double crochet around your double crochet from round 1. So a front post double crochet is always a yarn over, and then you're going to go from around this stitch here. So you're going to go from the front to the back and back through. Okay, so it's bringing this post to the front. Okay, so behind this stitch, and then continue your double crochet as you normally would. Now if you've been following us through our daily squares, we've done quite a few front post double crochets, so you will be quite familiar with those. Okay, so then you want to do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so that's 1 and 2 stitches, single crochet in those 2 stitches, and then you're going to do another front post double crochet around this next double crochet, front post double crochet around there, and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And I'm just working around my tail here. It saves a lot of weaving in later, even though a lot of people know by now that I quite like weaving in my ends. I'm one of those weird people. Okay, so 2 single crochets and then a front post double crochet around your double crochet, and continue that all the way around. A front post double crochet and 2 single crochets, front post double crochet, 2 single crochets. And when you get back round to the beginning, you are going to do a slip stitch under this chain that you did at the beginning. That counts as your first stitch, so you'll be doing a slip stitch under there. Okay, so front post double crochet, 2 single crochets, front post, 2 singles, all the way around, and a slip stitch into your first chain. And I'll see you in a mo. Okay, so this is the end of round 3. You've got some nice little spokey bits going on here from your front post double crochets. So for round 4, we're sticking with the same colour. Obviously you can change if you would like, or maybe you're doing all one colour. And for round 4, we are going to start with a single crochet. Sorry, we're going to start with a chain 3. Okay, so chain 3, and this counts as our first double crochet. Obviously you can do a standing double crochet if you prefer. And then in this same space here, same stitch, we are going to do a double crochet. So that will be 2 double crochets, or the equivalent of. Now this was our first chain, so it's a bit tight to get through. So if it's too tight, you can always go down a hook size just for that. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you've got your chain and your double crochet in that same stitch space, okay? And then in your next stitch, which is this one here, you're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2 double crochets. Okay, so we've got the equivalent now of 4 double crochets, and then in the top of this front post double crochet we are going to do 1 double crochet. Okay, so this is what we're going to do all the way around now, is 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, and 1 double crochet in the top of your front post double crochet. Okay, so between each double crochet you should have 2 stitches in one, 2 stitches in one, and 1 in the double crochet in the front post. Okay, so 2 in the next one, 1, 2 in the next, oops, excuse me, get some more yarn. So 2 in that first one, 2 in the second one, and 1 in that front post, but a normal double crochet, not a front post, just a double crochet. Okay, so follow that all the way around, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, all the way around, and then you're going to slip stitch into your top chain at the start here, or the top of your standing double crochet if you did that. So pause the video, and I'm going to continue this, and I'll see you back around here. So now we are on to round 5, and the pattern suggests that we change our colour. So I've got changed back to our original colour, so I'm back to my lime green, and it asks us to chain 1, so just chain 1 there. That doesn't count as a stitch, so it just gets us going. Now you might have noticed I have a stitch marker. The reason I have a stitch marker is because sorry, I should have said, if you count your stitches you should have 40 double crochets, and that means counting your chain as a double crochet, so you should have 40 double crochets around. Now I counted mine just a moment ago and I've missed a stitch. Yes, I've missed a stitch. In this stitch here I've only done 1, not 2, so I've got 2 stitches here but only 1 there. Okay, so it was 2 into each, wasn't it? So I've only got 1. So I've now I could, it's only a small round, I could frog this, rip it all out, and start that round again, but I thought this was a good opportunity to show you how you can correct that mistake. If this was sort of, you know, round here and it was, you know, you're doing a lot bigger, you're not going to want to rip out 80 stitches maybe, so I thought I would show you how you can correct this mistake and still have the right amount of stitches on the next round. So let's get going on this round. I'm assuming that most of you will have the correct amount of stitches. You will have 40 double crochets around your circle. So what we're going to do is, in the next stitch we are going to do 2 single crochets. Okay, so into this next stitch 2 single crochets. Okay, in the next stitch just 1 single crochet. The next one, you're going to do 2. It's 2 single crochets and then 1. And this is how we increase our circle without it coming up to make something like a pot. We have to increase it to fit around the outside. So we're going to do 2 in the next one, and then 1 in the next. Okay, so 1 in the next. Now I'm going to continue around until I get to my stitch marker, and then I'll meet you back in a second and show you how to correct this mistake. Okay, so I'm at the point where my stitch marker was. Now, I've done 2 single crochets in this stitch, so this stitch would be just 1 single crochet. So it's 1 single crochet, and now the next stitch, which would be alongside here, would be my 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 extra stitch in this space. That would be 1, and then I'm going to do an extra stitch in this space next to it. So that's my 2 single crochets that I would have done in the stitch that was here. Okay, so I've done 1 in the stitch that I've just been in, and I've done 1 in my next stitch. So I spread them between these 2 stitches. Okay, so that was my 2 single crochets that should have been in this stitch here. And then my next stitch will be asking for 2 single crochets. So I'm going to do those 2 single crochets in that stitch as normal. So now I've got 3 single crochets. Did I do 2 or 3 there? Let me see. 3. So I've got 3 single crochets in this stitch instead of 2, and 2 single crochets in this stitch instead of 1. So that I've now got, between the 2 stitches, I've got 5 single crochets, which is what I would have had originally if I had that stitch in there. So it means that the next round I will be the correct stitch count. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, just rewind it and re-watch, and that just help you know how to correct these mistakes without having to undo all of your work. But if you've got the correct stitch count and you had 40 double crochets like you should have had, then just continue all the way around doing 2 single crochet, which I just did, and then 1 single crochet into your next stitch. 2 single crochets, 1, 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet all the way around. And I'll meet you back around here at the beginning. 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so this round you should have 60 single crochets. Okay, and you can see that because we've done that increase, your circle lays nice and flat. If you were doing this same amount, it would have started to curl up, thinking you wanted to make like a bowl or a hat or something. Okay, so then you're going to do your slip stitch into this first chain that you made, and slip stitch into there, and there we go. And if you look here, have a look. Can you spot where I made that mistake? Can you spot easily where I missed that stitch and had to add some? No, you can't, because it just blends in. If it was a lot bigger stitches, you might have noticed it a bit more, but generally it kind of blends in, so you don't have to worry. Hey presto, bazinga. Okay, we are moving on to round 6. Round 6. Now, round 6 we are doing in the same colour. So we are on to round 6, and this is where we turn our circle into a square. So we're going to start with our back to colour B. So I've just slip stitched into a stitch and done a chain 4. This chain 4 will count as your first treble crochet. You can do a standing treble crochet if you wish, but chain 4 counting as our first treble, and then you're going to do a treble crochet into the next stitch. So that's 2 yarn overs and into the next stitch. Okay, so into the next stitch, do a treble crochet, and now you're going to make your first corner, which is a treble crochet into the next stitch, treble crochet, and then a chain 2, oops, a chain 2, 1, 2, and then another treble crochet into the very same stitch, and that will be your first corner. This chain will take you around your corner, as you're probably familiar with already if you've been following us along. Okay, so now we need to make this into a square, and we've got this circle, so we're going to go from big stitches down to little stitches and then back up to big stitches. Okay, remember when we're working in the round, usually each side is totally symmetrical, so what we do on one half will be the same on the second half of the row, of the side, and then it will be exactly the same on each side as you go around. So we need to now do 2 treble crochets. So the next stitch is a treble, oops, a treble crochet. Let's go over there, we go. So a treble crochet. Shall I do that one again? Oops. So treble crochet into the next stitch. There we go. There we go. That's much better. And a second treble crochet. So the next, so each one of these is just 1 stitch in each stitch along. So 2 treble crochets. Okay, that one's your corner. So I've done 2 trebles, and now you want to do 2 double crochets. So as I said, we're working along from tall stitches to shorter stitches. So 2 double crochets, 1 in each stitch. There we go. Just, my yarn's getting caught up somewhere. Let me untangle it. There we go. Okay, so 2 double crochets, and then the next height is our half double crochet. So we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Okay, and then obviously the next size down is our single crochet. So you want to do 2 single crochets, and that's taken us from big tall stitches down to short stitches, and now we're going to repeat that backwards to do the second half of our side. So okay, so we're working from short to tall. We've got our single crochets there, so our next is half double crochets. Okay, we're not doing 4 single crochets, we're just doing those 2. So it's 2 half double crochets, and then 2 double crochets, 1 in each stitch, remember. 1, 2 double crochets. Now I'm coming up to my where I fastened off my previous colour, but I'm just going to work over that, that's fine. So now we're doing 2 treble crochets. So 1, 1, and my second one will be in this space here. If you're working past your knot, just work out where those stitches were and where it should fit in. So I've done 1 for that stitch there, and then I've just done 1 for this stitch here. That would be just your slip stitch where you've fastened off. You don't want to be adding stitches to what you've done, or it will end up being a bit wonky at the end. So we've done that side, and now you can see that makes it nice and square. You've gone from big down to little, back to big. So we're going to copy that around the other side. So you need to do your next corner, which is a treble crochet into the next stitch. So treble crochet into that next stitch, chain 2 and a treble crochet back into that same stitch, and that is your corner. So you're going to follow this around the other sides. You're going to do 2 treble crochets, 2 double crochets, 2 single crochets, and that makes your center. And then you're going to finish this half with 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, 2 trebles, and then your corner. And then you're going to repeat that all the way around. And when you get here, you only need to do one that you need to finish with your double crochet, because you've already got your 2 treble crochets there, and I'll meet you back round here to fasten off. Okay, so I finished with a double crochet, and then I've gone into the 4th chain of my starting chain and join there with a slip stitch, and that is round 6 done. And then we're staying with the same colour for round 7, our last round. Okay, round 7, our last round. In this round we're working between the spaces of stitches and the chain corner space, not the actual stitches at the top. Okay, so we need to get over to this chain space, so do a slip stitch in those 2 spaces and into your corner, and now you're in your corner ready to work. So chain 2, and that counts as your first double crochet. Do a 2nd double crochet and chain 2 for your corner, and then 2 more double crochets, 1, 2, and now between these next stitches you're going to do 3 double crochet, 1 in the first space, 2nd in the 2nd space, and the 3rd between the next 2. There we go, 3 double crochet, and then you're going to miss the next space and do a double crochet in the 2nd space along. Okay, miss the next space and do a double crochet in the next space, and you're going to do 2 more double crochets, 1 in each of the next spaces along. 1, 2, and the 3rd one. There we go, 3rd one, and let me just get my yarn, and then you're going to miss a space, go into the 2nd space, double crochet, all double crochets, miss a space, go into the next one, and in the next 2, so that's 1, 2, and 3. That takes you back to your corner. So if you remember, our corner is 2 double crochets, 1, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. And you're going to work back along this other side, so it's 3 double crochets between the next 3 spaces, or in the next 3 spaces should I say, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, miss a space, work into the 2nd space along with a double crochet, so you've missed a space, miss 1 more space and do 3, 1, 2, oops, 2 and 3, miss a space, go into the 2nd space, double crochet, miss a space into the next one, and do 1, 2 and 3, and that is your side. And then you're going to do your corner with 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then you're going to work along all the way around exactly the same. Do your 3, miss 1, 1, miss 1, 3, miss 1, 1, missed 1, 3. If you need to, you can rewind this video a couple of minutes and follow what we did on the previous side and around to this side, and then we're going to join into our top chain here, and I'll meet you back around here. Okay, and there is the end of round 7, the end of the square, the kiwi ring, hence called, I think, because it looks a bit like the inside of a kiwi, so I've done it in this green colour. So there we go, guys. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. If you have, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and all the details of the Facebook group are in the description box below. We'd love to see you over there. Until next time, guys, though, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.